And welcome back to the Lawless Brothers Radio podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Casey.
And I'm your other host, Ryan.
What's going on?
What's going on, man? How you doing today?
It's a beautiful day. I'm repping the birds. Orange County's gorgeous. We were just, if you're familiar with the area, we were in Dana Point.
Dana Point.
Fucking beautiful outside, right by the water. Dude, found some Rita's water ice.
What do you know about Rita's
water ice?
What
do
do
y'all know about Rita's water ice? I do got
You're repping the brand right now.
I am repping the brand right now. I also got some Phil's. Shout out Mint Mojito.
Hashtag ad.
Hashtag not a sponsor. Hashtag sponsor us. Hashtag stat that. But it's just fire.
How you feeling after that last episode, Case?
Man, dude, I feel great. It was probably like one of the funnier episodes that we've recorded.
Yeah.
And then not even just that. I mean, dude, as you guys have seen, like the 20 of you that stick around every week, we were having some technical issues. We do love y'all over the last couple episodes, but Ryan and I have worked tirelessly to we figured out lighting, storage issues, SD card situations. There's so much more than what you guys see. Even more than just annoying the shit out of Aaron's old ears. Because the technical difficulty thing can get loud. But hopefully we are past that. And I think we're entering a new phase of where this is going.
Like season 2?
No, we're in season 1. We're still in season 1.
Okay.
But I do believe, I do declare that we're hitting a different kind of stride right now.
Facts. We're in flow.
We are in flow. We are even flow.
Even flow.
Don't get copyright strict now. That's a good impression. You better settle down there, partner. But just kind of like it's unfortunately kind of similar to episode 6. We started off very light, but things are gonna get a little bit heavier. We're actually
gonna bounce back and forth, dude. Some are gonna be light. There's gonna be some good out of this too. I think.
We're gonna have
some fun, some deepness. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, definitely. But there are there's gonna be a little bit of parts that might get a little bit more serious than others. But again, I think it's kind of the goal of really what we're trying to get into. So what are we talking about today?
Well, we're going to talk about, kind of one of the reasons why I asked you how you're feeling today, right? I think how are you feeling is such a good question. Reason being is because, you greet someone, oh, how you doing? Oh, I'm good. Cool. How about you? Oh, good too. It's like, you're both lying to each other.
Right.
You're both lying to each other.
100%.
How are you feeling? Like, it strikes a different nerve, makes you think a little bit more maybe. Like, how am I feeling right now?
Yeah.
What do I feel
It's a very inquisitive question. It's a very fuck, wait a minute. How am I doing?
Yeah, and we're in a new era of humanity, right? This is probably a topic that no one talked about for the last X amount of thousands of years or whatever. But it's been a lot more prevalent in probably the last 20 years. I would say
very recently.
Yeah,
I would say like in our lifetime
for sure. And so health is wealth,
not just physical.
Mental health is wealth.
Yes.
There's being two young men in America. There's definitely a lot of stigmas around mental health.
Yes.
Some people think it's not real. Some people just tell you to stop being a bitch.
Yeah, and that works until it doesn't.
Sure. Yeah.
And then it gets real. It can get real sad and bad because then that a lot of not retention, but a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of you repressed,
repressed.
You repress a bunch of shit that you're actually going through, and then you might hide it with a new car, a new girl, a new this, a new toy. You know what I mean? A new something, right? And
you might implode.
That too, yeah. And one of our favorite comedians, John Mulaney.
Yeah.
One of my favorite jokes by him. He's like, I'm Irish, so the way that I treat mental health is I'm gonna bottle up everything right here, and then one day I'll die. And it's awful, and the crowd applauds and cheers and laughs, but it's fuck, dude. You're kind of almost expected to live in that way, and then on top of not having strong leadership for us specifically. That's a whole other ball game to how we are even supposed to regulate emotions.
Facts. I think even with strong leadership, I think that this is like something that is like a generational, like our generation is a lot more tapped into this. It's being talked about now. Talking to professionals about this kind of stuff is a lot more prevalent and suggested.
Yes.
But it also is something that's still, you talk about something like therapy, right? It still takes a lot for you to get to a spot where you should do it. I can tell you for a long time, I was never, I'm pretty open to ideas when it comes to like medicine and therapy and things like that. But I was never, I was like, I don't need that shit, bro. That's for the birds, right?
Definitely.
And I think that's like a pretty good way to kind of open this conversation is, talking about it. There's especially for men, right? There's a big stigma around you shouldn't talk about your feelings. You should, I don't know, go lift some weights. You should go drink, suppress with some drugs.
Distract.
Exactly,
like
distract, yeah.
Yeah, like any real thing that you have going on, no you don't. Just go to an external location, take out some whatever kind of punishment, whether it be inflicting upon, mostly yourself, and that could be, again, like how you said, like alcoholism, whether that be like, I mean, how many people did you guys grow up with when every single day, like clockwork after their 9 to 5, they were going to the bar to get drinks?
Facts.
You know what I mean? To fucking soften the blow of their life that they hate, and instead of finding a person to talk to about it, they talk into a bottle.
I think, to play both sides of this, I think there is a lot of merit around like past generations, although it definitely wasn't talked about. A lot of times you think of, like, if you go back to, like, you think about, like, could be talking out of my ass right now, but like the Great Depression and like people just trying to survive. There is a different, we are privileged enough to be in a spot to where, food, survival, housing, protection isn't like on the forefront of our brains.
Yes.
Which, leads you to being able to, have the capacity to open up for other things like health and mental health.
Definitely.
Even though people like we're getting to a spot where not even mental health, I know that's what we're talking about, but that younger generations are a lot more focused on like the gym and like eating healthy and stuff. That's definitely ramped up.
Yes.
And that's because we have the space to do it.
Yeah, that's a great point, actually. I think, definitely, the difference between generations, I think when you're not focused on, like, how am I going to survive, you can create both new solutions and new problems.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So, like, you can, like, it's like when someone, is a person who, it's like, yeah, well, it's almost like what's that? It's not privileged hate, but more like first world problems.
Sure.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's a good example.
If you, wake up in, your beautiful house and you have everything that you need, it's like, oh, but like, there's this one thing that I want that I can't have. But like, there were full generations of people before us who were like, I need to find housing. I need to find shelter. I need to find food. We live in such a abundant world.
Yeah.
Whether people realize it or not.
Yep.
That it unfortunately gives you the space to not only find new interests, but it creates new problems because you need to fill some void.
Yeah, and who's to say that person, like the first world, lives in a beautiful house and stuff, like it's kind of fucked too, but unfortunately whatever their tiny problem is that is viewed, like that is their problem, like that, like for their experience in life, like that is their problem. So it's kind of, it is, funny to think about it that way, that you have people in third world countries getting destroyed by, who knows, like,
fucking like earthquakes,
like a natural,
and shit.
Exactly,
yeah,
natural disaster or whatever. And then, the fact that, Samantha and Jessica are fighting about, who she wore the shoes that I was gonna buy,
Dude,
and like that's their problem, right?
Right.
It's crazy.
And who's to say which one holds more weight or more gravity?
It's kind of crazy to think about it like that, but it is true. It is true, and so to really reel in and think about some of our own struggles and things that we went through to kind of overcome those struggles. I think one of I'll start from, we'll go backwards, because therapy, right? I actually in the past, it was towards the end of last year for about three-ish months, I kind of went, and there was like a moment that kind of triggered me going, which is basically, basically had like a work altercation that kind of triggered me like going to this, because something had really hit a nerve for whatever reason.
Right.
But you get there and you realize, as I'm talking to the therapist, she goes, "Hey, yeah, this happened, but you really don't care about that, and we're here to talk about a lot more things that have nothing to even do with this situation."
Right.
And it was funny. I'd always thought, like our sister being a psych major, right?
Mm-hmm.
It always has been on the brain, like, something I should do, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
But to actually do it is different. And to once I started going, I realized how normal, and how now I don't even think of it as like a hurdle to jump over. It's just normal, right?
It's so healthy too.
Yeah.
I've also, had my experiences in, therapy and in counseling, and that was something that, unfortunately I had to, undergo at a lot younger age. But honestly, that's probably where, most of my problems, I would say, really hit me at the forefront. I still have, like kind of daily struggles.
Sure.
But I'm able to regulate those emotions a lot more maturely and not treat them as like if they don't exist, but more of what I try to do on a constant basis is remind myself, like, what's a conscious effort that I could put into right now that I know will make me feel better.
Okay.
And not only make me feel better, but also make me feel productive.
Is that like an event you do in the day? Is it like are you doing checklists? What's happening?
Yeah, like it could be. So for example, like I know one thing that, makes me really happy is working on this.
Sure. Yeah.
Like working on this podcast. Like that's something that, guys like like maybe know or maybe don't know, but there's so much that goes on behind the scenes, whether it be fucking how I set up the lighting to make sure that we don't look like shit, or like figuring out what clips we're going to post on a daily basis, the edits, in between, the video, microphone, audio syncing, like this shit all looks like fucking magic, but there's a lot that goes in this, but it's not work to us, you know what I mean?
It's fun.
And it's fun. So that's one thing I'll do. I also I love pro wrestling, so if there's like a match that like I've never watched, like I'll watch that while maybe I journal.
Okay.
Like just certain things that I know that I can do throughout the day where I know it's gonna make me like feel a lot better. Or even just having a clean space, having a clean apartment, making sure. Like I've noticed that when I've really started to wake up one day and just feel really shitty, I'm like, maybe I could do laundry. And then the moment I do laundry, like it sounds like these very small things, but they're small wins, they're small victories that I try to do my best to like kind of add up over the day.
Yeah.
And it just kind of allows me to remember, what I'm truly grateful for. But I'm never trying to suppress those emotions either.
Right.
I'm never trying to tell myself, if you're ever just feeling sad to feel sad, like that happens. Like,
it's important to feel, to not suppress it, even if it's like, even if it's not the greatest feeling, or maybe you are thinking some like super negative, like not good stuff for anybody, but you kind of have to let those thoughts come and just let them go. And if you get hung up on them, they will continue to like fester. Basically, is a pretty big thing. With the checklist situation, as a smart perfectionist to some degree, like you wouldn't really know it, but paralysis by analysis is a great example of. Even coming here, like if I wake up and I'm like, all right, I wake up at whatever time, I'm like, all right, I'm supposed to go to the gym, I'm supposed to do boom, 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 boom. And then when you put all of those things on the list, it almost makes it's like, all right, fuck, like I'm going to stop and not do anything until
because it feels so overwhelming.
Yeah.
So and that happens to me, more often than you realize too. It's the same fucking thing. Like, oh my God, I haven't done laundry. I haven't done this. Oh my God, I haven't gone to the gym today. Fuck, I got to do my meal prep for the rest of the week. I don't even know what I'm going to eat. I don't know. I was like, oh my God, now my skin feels weird on my like, there's so many little things. And then I have to like, dude, I'll show up fucking like, dude, I have like notes, or I have a notepad in my book, like in my bedroom. Like, dude, I'll have to shut myself down. Like, dude, like shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I will write what needs to get done and fucking put a little fucking box.
Sure.
And I will fucking check that shit. And dude, 100%. And then, dude, I was in Costco, and for some reason there's a song stuck in my head. We were getting Denise's glasses. This is such a tangent, but there was dude, Costco is fucking hilarious. There's the fucking Vision Center, and then you turn around, it's like a giant crate of tequila, like and literally the only thing that kept replaying in my head was like, got that Don Julio with that, and I don't know fucking why, but it just struck me. But anyway, long story short,
go.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned, so you'd mentioned,
you
said, like, hey, when I was younger that I had went. Like, what did you get out of going to therapy as a younger person? Young teens, you tell me.
Yeah. So, it was, like, middle teens. So I was, I seeked counseling, kind of, like, from, like, 15 to, like, 18.
Okay.
And it was actually through my high school. There was a therapist there as well as a counselor. So... And that was something that I think that they added after you graduated. The therapist at school. Yeah. And I didn't really tell my friends about it. I didn't really tell anyone about it.
Right.
I wasn't really going to school.
Okay.
Because I just didn't want to fucking exist.
But you had to go to school to go to this therapist.
Exactly, right? Okay. So, and the biggest thing, unfortunately, is when you're that young, you think... And being a moderately smart person, I thought that I was the smartest human alive.
Sure.
So anything that this professional is trying to help me with, I just assumed like this is bullshit the whole time. I had a very negative, which is my complete own fault. It was this woman. It was two women. I forget. I can't. It was so. I mean, high school.
It's all good.
High school was
better if you don't have their names.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, high school was a long time ago. But it was one of those things where I just felt like I was wasting my time. And I would say specifically a memory in school. So I was, they had kind of like worked with me and figured out that like I had depression, and, they were trying to figure out if like maybe medication or something, could be necessary. But I don't know, dude. Like mom kept popping up in my head, and like how like against pills she was. Yeah. So I was like, oh, I don't fucking need fucking
right.
Probably would have been a good idea at the time, actually. Okay. But one of the weirdest things was I had a ton of like suicidal thoughts, self-harm thoughts, actions we'll get into later. But not only was I suicidal, I was also terrified of death.
Okay.
So it was and that's like kind of like where anxiety came in a little bit, because it was this really weird grasp of I am feeling so much fucking mental pain.
Okay.
That I just don't want to do it anymore. But I couldn't grasp the finality of what death really is. And not being able to grasp, is there something else? Or is it just fucking fade to black? Done.
Sure.
And I remember one of my most vivid memories, it was like my junior year. I was in English class, and out of fucking nowhere, I just get hit with this wave. And in my head, like, it was just screaming at me, you're going to die, you're going to die, you're going to die. Like, it was like, fucking, and it would get louder and louder and louder. And I started to break down and fucking cry and, like, fucking, I was, like, pulling my fucking hair out. But, like, I was also silent. Like, you ever, like, been so, like, angry or upset that, like, you don't even make noise? Like, I don't even know how else to explain. Like, my panic attacks were, like, almost silent.
Okay.
But I, like, freaked the fuck out and, like, bursted into tears, and I'm just losing my fucking mind. And I know I looked like a crazy...
You're in class?
In fucking class. Okay. I sat in the front row. So I know I looked like a crazy person because we were just talking about fucking...
Hair down to your shoulders? Is this that time?
We were shorter.
Shorter?
We were shorter.
Okay.
I did used to have crazy long hair. Yeah. Also, finally got a haircut. Shout out to my head. Fresh. No more hat. But that's the biggest. I think this is the second hatless episode.
More on mental health, self-image.
Yeah, right. Shout out, no hat. But I had to be fucking excused from class, and my English teacher at the time, can't think of his fucking name, but it's probably better that way. He was like, dude, like, what is going on?
Sure.
And I was like frozen. Like, I didn't even know what to say. I was like, I need to talk. I need to see someone, like, now.
Yeah.
And so I got sent down to the counselor's office, and we probably sat there till the end of the day. I had that class 6 period. I didn't go to a class for the rest of the day. So I was in that office.
You were how old again?
16.
16? Okay.
Because it was junior year. So I could have been 16 or 17.
I'm trying to frame what's going on in
like
life
your life
picture. Yeah, because at this point, I'm probably not there, right?
No, you're not.
Yeah, interesting.
Which probably correlates a lot more than I like to admit.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that was
So you go to counselor / therapist in high school.
Yes.
You're not going to school a lot.
No.
Does mom know you're going to this?
So I had mentioned to her that I had seen someone at school.
Okay.
But she didn't know how often. She didn't know. And, like, they had emailed her before.
Okay.
But it was something where it had to go. It was more of, like, the therapist had recommended medication. It wasn't like you're getting prescribed this medication. So it wasn't something that I really ever brought up to mom.
Interesting.
But the thing is that the darkest point was, I want to say this was it might have even been before. I think it was my sophomore year going into junior year.
Yeah, you actually just unlocked a memory for me, and I was there.
In a car?
No, in our room.
Which one?
You had, like, fucking, for real, like, sorry, but you had, like, I want to say, like, it was kind of, like, it's not funny looking back, but, like, as just little kid mentality, I feel it was a bunch of ibuprofen. I'm so serious.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, okay.
So I, well...
It's not funny. I'm just thinking,
no, it's
like,
okay.
It's
funny in the sense...
You're a child thinking like that. This
right.
is...
Well, so the thing is, though, is because you and I did talk about this, and I think that in my junior year you had left, but I believe it was the beginning of my junior year of high school, and it sounds unfortunate, but so our stepdad, or our mom's boyfriend at the time, had a lot of back issues.
Okay.
And he had pain medication.
Yeah.
And I planned on, and we used to have a lot of alcohol in the house, like a lot of liquor in the house. And my plan was to down an entire bottle of vodka and take every single pill in this bottle and wait to die. Someone who was close to us told me that this is what they did.
Okay.
And it didn't go through.
Okay.
And in the moment of me not wanting to exist, I was like, I'll go through with it.
Did you do it?
So I was in the process. I drank about like a fifth of this, but it was so disgusting.
Yeah.
Vodka straight is not fun. I could have picked a better liquor.
Sure. Tequila, whiskey, fucking.
What? Anyway, I can't joke right now. And my plan was I was like, oh, it's gonna be hardcore. I'm gonna fucking pop this medicine bottle open. I'm gonna fucking down all this, and then I'm just gonna fucking wash it down. And then I was like starting to bitch out. And so I drank like a fifth of the bottle, and I think I did that first because my thought was, oh, if I can get drunk, then I can just convince myself to do anything.
Okay.
So I decided to get drunk first. I knew that you weren't going to be home. Our sister went somewhere, and our mom's boyfriend was somewhere, and mom didn't come home till like 5.
Okay.
So I come home in high school. It's like 3:30.
Sure.
So my goal was to be alone, and I found it. And in my head, I said, this is the time. Like, this is when to do it. Had everything set up. Drank the fifth of vodka. And I went to start taking pills. And the first thing I thought of was, Mom's going to be the first to find me. And I couldn't do it. that like woman fucking gave me everything.
Yeah.
She fucking sacrificed so much for us, and I'm about to fucking throw it all away because I'm sad. And I just felt that the fucking pain inside me was just too much to fucking overcome, and I just felt that was the only way out. So I fucking went to the fucking I took 3 pills.
Okay.
And I drank a 5th of vodka. So I got a shit ton of stuff in my system, actually. So I fucking went to the fucking bathroom. Trigger warning. Forced myself to throw up.
Right.
There was like a gallon of Deer Park water in the fridge.
Okay.
And I drank basically the entire gallon of water in one sitting and was in the bathroom for like 3 hours.
Damn.
And then I told Mom that I wasn't feeling good.
Yeah.
And that I was just sick, and that's why I was throwing up. And then I stayed home from school the next day.
Wow. Yeah, I did not know any of this. What do you think the source of this pain was? Because not to, again, everyone's problems are theirs. One of the, I've probably haven't said it on here, but I've talked about just amongst us about how, might have not had like the most research into things of that nature, but like what I'm forever thankful for is that like wasn't abused, right? And what, really in any shape or form.
Yeah.
So, and it's your life, but what do you think the source of this pain was?
That's something I've, wrestled with for a while. Like, it's kind of hard for me to go back to that time, like in my head, and then like think exactly like what my mentality was, what my thoughts were. I think it could have just been a lot of things, dude. I mean, as much as you're right, like we weren't like abused or anything, and it's like as much as Mom, like, and everybody like did for us, her attention was very spread.
Sure. Yeah.
And she was doing so much. And I just, between you and Jolie, I kind of always, like, felt like the odd man out. Like, we kind of touched on it in School Schmuel, but,
yeah,
like, you two were in GT. You two took AP classes. Like, I always felt that, like, I was smart, too. And I just kind of felt like I never really, like, was recognized for being my own person. My entire life throughout school, I was either Ryan's little brother or I was our sister's little brother.
Right.
I was never Casey, like, ever, to any teacher, to anybody. And I think that there probably was a compound of also maybe the people I was surrounding myself with, who were also in a similar mentality of being, very, not well.
Okay.
And I do believe that not only misery loves company, but I also believe that you become an average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So I think that when you combine me feeling like not only have I ever felt like I'm not enough, but I've never been told I'm enough, combine that with a bunch of other people who also felt that exact way, you're also probably having a fuck ton of hormones, and like when you're going through puberty, like, and I just think that was just like a recipe. Also, like, always kind of struggled with self-image, not really digging what I looked like,
right?
And I just fucking think also trying to use relationships to like fill a void of a source of happiness, a source of like.
You were young. A lot of adults still do that now, so you're not alone there at all.
Yeah, and I just think it kind of fucking whirlwinded all into one solitary moment rather of a bunch of stuff just adding up. And I think that's kind of what led me to that. And then it happened again.
What do you mean?
4 years later.
Okay.
During COVID. I was with my longtime girlfriend, at the time. We were together at that point for 4.5 years.
Yeah.
And during the summer of COVID, it started to get bad again. And I really didn't know why. But I felt very dissatisfied. I felt fucking lost dude, I mean, think about it. At this time, no college degree. I'm fucking working. I'm kitchen manager at Chick-fil-A. I'm not making shit. I still live with my parents. I felt like I was like a fucking loser. Didn't have a car. Didn't have my license. The reason that I never got my license, and I think we've talked about this off camera, but I was always afraid what I'd do.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I was always afraid that if one night I was alone and I wasn't feeling well and I was on 95 or the turnpike or whatever the fuck and I had to turn and I just wouldn't.
Whoa.
Yeah, and that didn't really materialize until really strongly in my head until I got my license. And I remember the first time I ever got behind the wheel of a car, like by myself, like at post a license.
Yeah.
And I told myself that I am in full control. And I don't have to succumb to what I'm feeling, even if I'm feeling it. And from that moment, but go back anyway, I was with her, and it's unfortunate, but I felt like I was staying with her for a long time, and it just felt like it was just kind of like the right thing to do.
Okay.
Like, you're like, I should be in love. I should feel in love. I should still feel very attached to this person. I should still feel very, like, hopeful, but I kind of noticed along the way of how things progressed in our relationship, we had very different visuals for what our lives were going to become. Like, when no matter who you are, no matter how cool someone is, your somewhat mid/end goals should be similar. Like, I remember I would bring up to her, I was in high school, and I brought up to her, like, hey, like after high school, like after college, after whatever, like, I really want to live in California. And she would, like, cry. And I don't mean, like, complain or, like, bitch. I mean, like, cry at just the idea of being that far away from her family. And I can't, like, put, if that's, if she had a very close relationship with her family, extended family, like, and I get it. If that's something that's incredibly important to you, like, and you want to be there to stick by, like, I fully respect that. But I always envisioned more. Like, I always envisioned, like, being exploratory, kind of expanding my horizons, you know what I mean? Like, seeing more. And that was something that I think always in the back of my head, too, that I always knew that we weren't going to agree on. And now I just felt like not stuck with this person, but more like, well, I guess if I, want the family, if I want the, the white fence, if I want the house, if I want the car, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to, stay, with her. And it was getting to a point where I felt like I was, like, fucking sucking the life force out of her to try to bring me some kind of happiness.
Okay.
And I felt very, like, not like a virus, but like a parasite.
Parasitic, yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people do that, man. I think a lot of people stick with, do it for the kids, right? Feel the need to, like, fill this void with this person or something like that. There's probably a little bit of guilt too, right? If something happens in that relationship or, friendship or whatever, you feel like I owe it to this person for X, Y, and Z, which is probably another very common theme. And I can feel that to a degree as well. I'm curious back to, you mentioned, like, these things start happening again come COVID.
Yeah.
COVID was weird for everybody.
Yes.
And, this was your experience, but a lot of people, took this time to pick up being an alcoholic, trying crazy drugs.
Yeah.
Cabin fever, you're stuck in the same place with the same people for, X amount of time.
Yes.
And, like, I think it was interesting you said the whole thing about your license. That is very, it's like, it's just so wild how different our lives can be, 10 feet away, right? Like, I'm
100%.
And I didn't know it. I was in my own thing as well during this time for sure. But, how did you actually, no, different question.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe not for you specifically, but like, what is the source of this? If you can't pin it on like, hey, this is something that happened to me, this was the situation, like where like are there things talking to you? Like what, you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, dude. I don't think I have like schizophrenia or anything.
Right.
but
you know?
No, but I get it, dude. The closest probably thing to that was like I said, like when I was in English class and I was just screaming, but it wasn't like a different voice. It was my subconscious. You know what I mean? Like screaming like you're gonna die, and for it to come back. Go ahead.
Also, you were an extremely straight edge kid, by the way.
Yes.
Extremely straight edge. Did not partake in any sort of substance
for a long time.
At all. So,
at all.
And then so I'm curious too. I mean, I know you're about to, but like, did you ever end up taking medication from these therapists when you were in high school?
No.
Okay.
Because like I said, I had it like ingrained from mom, like that she wouldn't even take Advil. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So like I just was like, oh, it was almost, I was like stigmatizing myself. I was like, oh, that's like pussy shit. I don't need to fucking take it. I don't need to take an antidepressant to not feel sad. I could just fucking figure it out. Mm-hmm.
Dude, off tangent, I got prescribed one
really?
time for like my medical shit, actually. I got diagnosed with medical anxiety.
Wow.
And I took, again, like I was open. I'm like, all right, you know, like this is medicine. Let me try whatever the case was. I took like Lexapro for like 3 days.
Oh, shit.
And this was pre-COVID, before COVID. I think it was like 2019, maybe.
Okay,
like
so right,
like right before COVID. And yeah, it's pretty crazy. I think we're good though. And maybe not.
Sorry if y'all can hear that. I live on a busy street.
Yeah, has not happened though at all. But
Never.
Anyway, so I taken it for like 3 days, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember just being at work and like being so chill and so relaxed that it freaked me out.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, dude? I'd rather be fucking crazy than ever take this shit ever again. So I just stopped.
But can't you also see that feeling, you could imagine other people wanting that all the time?
Oh yeah, dude. Like, man, you know, medication as a whole, like tangent for that. Like I've had crazy surgeries done.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of crazy surgeries done which is probably where a lot of my mental health things stem from, for like physical things.
Yeah.
And I've been prescribed every painkiller you can imagine. And like the antidepressant as well, and I don't really take anything, but during those times where I would take some stuff, I would take it for a little bit. I don't have an addictive personality. I don't.
Yeah.
I know that. But during the times that I was taking the stuff, I was like, oh shit, I can see how people get addicted to things like oxys and, you know,
Vicodin or
whatever these high level, because dude, they work. That's why they work. And I think that, you know, but I also think part of this whole thing is to feel pain. Like I think you have to feel some pain. You know, I think we people want to just be comfortable all the time. And you
comfortably numb.
You don't grow from that. Nothing can come from that. And like,
no.
You know, I just with the whole, you know, with this whole topic, like, I get why people get hooked to it. I'm not even shaming you if you're on it, but I did, while I can, from my own experience, say I did take them, and I was like, I'd rather be crazy if that's what this is, you know?
Yeah.
On some Kanye shit. I'd rather be crazy.
No, I get it. No, I get it, man. But you know, that, to kind of circle back a little bit to like that 2020 and how COVID was so strange for everyone, feeling isolated, not having a car either, so I can't really go anywhere. The only place I can go to is fucking work. And you know, if you had to ask about where that could stem from, like for those feelings to kind of resurface, I think like inadequacy, lack of fulfillment.
Okay.
Like again, like, dude, I'm 21 years old. What the fuck is my life? And, you know, like a quote that I think about all the time, and I did especially back then, is like, your life should be very different a year from now. And that could mean like a multitude of things, right?
Okay.
That could mean like everything is the exact same, but you picked up biking.
Sure.
Or everything is exactly the same, but you are way happier about what your life currently is. Or everything could be drastically, like, either way. Like, and the way I kept thinking about it was, The literal last 3 years of my life were identical. 18, 19, 20. I was with the same person. I didn't have my license. I didn't have a car. I always somehow had money and didn't have money. And I fucking smelled like fucking oil. And I think that, you know, and especially all the dreams and aspirations that I had for myself about being a broadcaster, being in media, doing something like that, like having all these aspirations, buying the equipment and then being too sad to use it, like as fucking sad as that sounds, dude, you know?
Again, a lot of people
like I've had this camera for 6 years, 5 years, like, you know what I mean? And
it's crazy how it all comes together right now, dude.
Yeah.
You do not know what is out there.
Right.
You do not know.
And I touched on it, I think 2 episodes ago, 2 or 3 episodes ago, where we were talking about the gym.
Yeah.
And so real quick before that, so her and I break up in, it's like September, October of 2020. And so I broke up with her for, let's call it 2.5, 3 reasons. One, I felt like I was just in the relationship because I needed to be. And I no longer felt like that absolute, like, craving of love. I feel like that when people are in love, it should never stop feeling like you're in love. Like I do now.
Okay.
Like I wake up every single day with a new reason to love Denise. Like she's just she's changed my life, and she is just such a fucking gem of a human. And she is so integral and important to exactly where I am now, and I couldn't imagine not being here without her.
Amazing.
And unfortunately, I was not having those feelings or experiences with this person. 2, go ahead.
And I think something important to know, because I don't want to feel like, you know, you're shaming anyone or anything like this, but all of these things come down to you cannot be. She might add, and she might be a great important part, but like, dude, if you cannot exist by yourself, you'll never be like, no one is ever going to like fill or like supply something that you can't supply for yourself, basically.
1 billion. And I was going to get to that, but just to piggyback off that point, you cannot, and I don't care who you are, I don't care what you think, you cannot love someone if you do not love yourself.
Yeah.
You cannot fully put your all into another person if you are not completely secure in who you are and what you can provide to the world alone.
Right.
Anybody who is in a relationship, which is the exact, again, like I started to feel like I just, not only did I not feel this way from her, I felt like I just wasn't correct. Like I wasn't like, I didn't feel good. I didn't feel like great. Like, unfortunately, like financials and stuff like that also play into a part too about where I was, what I was doing, how I felt honestly that she was surpassing me as well. Okay. Which I never faulted her for, but I did feel like, fuck, like she's doing all this and I'm just stuck. Yeah. And I just think that lack of progression was also like another reasoning, but I'll let you get into your point, but real quick. And the third reason was, if I were to take my life, I didn't want to be in a relationship when I did it because I didn't want her to feel like it was her fault.
Okay. So y'all break up. Mm-hmm. What happens for you mentally then after that?
I kind of start to say my goodbyes. So mentally and physically even. I hung out with like a few people who I hadn't seen in a while so that I could see them again. I started, it's fucking awful.
And you think this is the end of 2020, you're saying?
Like close to it. So we're like October.
Okay.
Like I start being more polite to people who maybe I typically wouldn't be. Like there's this it happens like a lot. It's called like a life surge. So like when, for example, like a very old person is like very close to near death, they will like right before they die, they will like let's say they're not able to get out of bed by themselves, like they'll be able to get up out of bed. They'll be in a better mood. They'll like be more like lively.
Yeah.
And then that's when they'll pass. Like it's like it happens with animals too.
Okay.
So I started to like mentally have a checklist of, let me kind of say, dude, I got dinner with I got dinner with Jolie. It's the main fucking reason I said yes to you to go to the gym. Because I was just thinking, let me stack as many positive experiences as possible before I go. So for you guys to, for some reason, it connected clearly in my head that if I do these things, you won't believe that there was like something that you could do. Like this was my ultimate decision. This is what I'm going to do. And I forget what day of the week that you and I went to the gym, but I remember like thinking that also like another like weird thing too, but like I had like a bottle of shampoo that was also running out soon.
Okay.
And my goal was, as well as I was trying to time it with when that bottle of shampoo is out, I'm gone. So then that way I didn't feel like I like left a piece of me behind. There are so many things that happen in your mind. Like it's like mental gymnastics about how you're trying to connect all of these pieces like before you go. And you were the last person that I planned on making that connection with, because to me you were at that time and probably and arguably still today one of the most important people in my life.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm listening. This is crazy.
So fucking coming to find out that when you and I went to the gym together, all I'm thinking about the whole time is, this is it.
Yeah.
It was a long drive to Warrington.
Yeah.
I think Warrington. Warminster or Warrington?
Yeah, same place.
Same shit.
And then God dropped 95 pounds on your chest.
Dude, we're like on the turf and you're like teaching me how to stretch.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, man, this place is bright. That's what I kept thinking.
Yeah.
I wasn't even like thinking about what we were going to do. I was literally just going to follow your lead, like wherever you did.
Mm-hmm.
But just being with you to me felt like enough.
Right.
It's really hard to think about killing yourself when there's a barbell falling on your chest. And you have someone behind you saying, fucking, dude, what are you doing? Push it up. And with all of your might, you are trying your fucking best. And
oh, shit.
I felt like in that moment, fuck, I've been talking a lot this episode. I'm sorry, guys. Like it's like almost like the closest thing to like real life video games.
Okay.
In the sense that like, oh wait, the only way I can get better at that is if I keep progressing. If I keep trying to do this. So then you asked me to go again the next day.
Yeah, and don't you have your license at this point, by the way?
Yes.
You do have your license.
I do.
Because I have a core memory of something else. Well, I'll get there when you get there.
Is it, I won't guess. It's fine. Oh, wait. Oh, well, yeah. The first time I ever really, really drove, like really drove.
Yeah.
Was to go to the gym.
Yeah. Mom's car. And
it was a fucking torrential downpour.
Out of nowhere, too. It was like...
flash flood.
Yeah.
And the whole time you're talking to me, you're like... But you were, like, being really good about it. You weren't, like, freaking out or anything.
Yeah. Because it's the first time you experienced it, but, dude, I've been driving. And, like, also, I was like, I know what's going to happen. But
you drove through a blizzard to go to a gaming
tournament.
You know?
I'm insane, but...
Yeah, but But I remember you were very good about it. But the one thing you did say, not like in like a freaked out tone, but you were like, Case, like if you think it's really bad, find somewhere to pull over. We can switch.
Yeah.
And I, in my head, was like, fuck you. A little challenge.
Sure. I remember you freaking out though, 2 hands on the wheel, like.
Oh my god, dude! Yeah, 10 and 2, the whole fucking way, baby. But yeah, and then but going to the gym with you that first time, and then going again the next day. That's when you taught me the it's like the not a lat pull down machine, but it's like a high row machine, and like you would like sit on it opposite and grab it, and that's when you taught me that. Like I always have
some
that
white out shit, by the way.
Yeah,
yes.
shout out white out. But like that's a core memory, of course, and I just remember thinking like, this is a lot better than wanting to kill myself and going through with it.
Yes.
Oh, also, real quick, I was severing all ties. I forgot to even mention this too. I quit Chick-fil-A.
You did? I feel like I told you to quit Chick-fil-A, by the way.
No, I had a plan. I had saved up money so that I could quit.
Yeah.
And now I don't have a job that I'm leaving behind if I die.
Yeah, I mean that's.
I think that you would.
I definitely.
I think that you had like recommended to me.
Yeah, I was like, hey, if you have
times.
the money and you don't need to be there, then just.
Yes, I do remember. Yes.
Were you working at Edge yet or no?
No.
Okay.
This is pre-Edge, so I was unemployed on purpose for. Well, the goal was to be unemployed forever, but
couple months max.
It was October to March.
Oh shit! How about that? Okay.
But I had saved up enough money to where I could pay Mom for whatever she needed. Yeah. I could pay any bills.
DoorDash, $30 McDonald's, middle of the night.
I was actually I stopped that, actually.
Oh, shit.
I was so sad I couldn't even bring myself to doing that.
No Chickies and Pete's.
And I know we're smiling right now. I'm laughing, but this was not fun times.
I'm sorry.
The video version of this is going to be a lot funnier than the audio. Thor's hammer just fell. But, yeah, dude. It was, holy
shit.
But when you and I started going to the gym together, that was like, I hadn't felt like real happiness in probably like, I could even argue, I could say like years. Like I had moments of happy.
Right.
From, 2018 to 2020. But I spent so much of my life like thinking you hated me.
Okay.
So for us to finally feel like we're kind of similarly close in age, but we're like adults this time. Like it's not like when you were 12 and I was 9 and Mom told you to bring your little brother for you to play football and you're like, dude, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like it was a lot. It was different. Like, and for us to, that's when I feel like we really started to like become like closer.
Yeah.
And thank fucking God, dude, because I told myself, I was like, yeah, this is a lot better. And then I would start to annoy you because we went to the gym like twice in a row. And then the next day I was like, Ryan, do you want to go to the gym? And you're like, I don't really want to go to I was like, no, come on, dude. Can we go to the gym? And then I started to go without you.
Yeah.
And then I would bother you every day. And I was doing the same thing that you were doing to me. Because you would ask me like twice, 3 times a week if I wanted to go to the gym. I'd tell you no every time. And you did that for like months.
Right.
And then I started to annoy the shit out of you. And I would ask you to go every single day. And you're like, dude, you don't have to go to the gym every day. And I'm like, what do you mean? Yes, you do. I was like, this is fun. Like, let's have fun. And then that's when I started, like, getting into learning how to, like, actually, like, learning how to work out. Like, programming.
Cardio sessions at 6 a.m. at Rico Flex.
Yeah, I was waking up at 5:30 in the morning to do 45 minutes of Stairmaster with fucking wubwoofers.
Yeah, I told you I was not doing that shit.
Yeah, that was all.
Ask me.
And then I would, and the best part was, is like, this is like purely perfect unemployed degen shit.
Yeah.
So I would wake up at 5:30, do cardio, come home, shower, eat, go back to sleep, wake up at like noon, have a pre-workout meal, go back to the gym and lift. And I did that like every day for like a 2-month period.
Can eat.
Oh, well, yeah, also, fun fact, by the time I was done with high school, I was 135 pounds at 5 feet 11. I was, if you are aware of what the aglet on the end of your shoestring looks like, that was my build.
Yeah,
About actually as wide as this microphone. This was like my arm.
That boy thin.
And then when we eventually pull out a short of this, I will put the picture of me when I'm 17, and then the video of me when I'm 17, where I'm trying to curl a 20-pound dumbbell, and I can't.
Dude. Let's go, man.
And when I went to Seattle with to meet like Mike and all of them. But
So is there anything else that got you out of this besides the gym? Like did you like, how about this? Like, you go to the gym, you get also like the physiological part. You get this. You start getting a rush of endorphins and things that you've never even experienced before, right? So you're like, oh shit, I feel good.
My
man.
body starts to change.
The cure to depression
immediately.
is the fucking workout, which is crazy,
dude. Yeah.
But you are a living, fucking example of that right now. As
Thank you.
You're not 135 pounds anymore.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
You're a big boy. So like,
trying.
Like, my point is, like, or my question is, I would assume it's not like magic, right? Like,
no.
Everything is like a slow progression, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So now you start lifting, like, what, like, if you are to, how do I explain this? Like, how do I question this? Are you still thinking anything? Like, are you still thinking anything of this, like, of the same thing? Or you're like, oh, fuck, I'm not following through with that anymore. Like what does that look like?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, like, it wasn't just the gym.
Okay.
Right. I think that's the biggest thing to come out of this too. But with it, I think also there's just a bunch of underrated or maybe not talked about things. I was able to build a sense of community.
Yeah.
Like, I found a community of people. Like there's a reason why people hundreds of thousands of years ago congregated, and why they're still doing it today, whether that be in church or fucking book club or whatever the fuck, because it feels good to be around like-minded people, and finding a sense of community, finding like people who are interested in the same things that I was. I always felt that everything I was interested in was super niche, like super, like, I don't really have anybody to talk to about this. You know what I mean? Like, I loved horror movies and like you know what I mean, and stuff like, and like that's like kind of like not like a super weird thing. Like, I know, like, being like horror movies are incredibly popular, but like it's also still like kind of like neat, and like I always felt like I never found anyone who really like loved what I loved, whether it be like me. So the gym, when I immediately, and I do have like an addictive personality, so thank fucking God I was never actually given, because who knows what could have happened.
Yeah.
But like, I was finding people who also love the gym and also like to talk about the gym and like to talk about supplements and like to talk about all this other programming, and oh my God, what do you
protein?
Hell fucking yes, every day, baby.
Yeah.
But I would say that there was a multitude of factors that wasn't just the gym that allowed my brain to expand into other avenues, and we're doing good.
No, we're doing great. What time was it we got on this bitch? I might have to hit a little pause, bro. I got to piss so bad, to be honest with you. Sorry.
That's great for the episode. Thank you, Ryan. That was good. Hey, yeah, we're all humans. You gotta pee. I get it. But a lot of coffee today. But it was more than just the gym that I think brought me out of that very dark time, and it allowed me to also reach like-minded people who were in the business of bettering themselves, and I was finding better people to surround myself with. And I think that that's the main key.
It's amazing. That's amazing.
Thank you.
We're going to put a pause. I need a piece so bad. Listen, fam, it had to be done, dude. I apologize. There's a lot of words right there. I just had to be done.
Bring this up. So I
can think clearly now.
Hell yeah, the rain is gone. Ryan, you had mentioned something earlier where you were talking about, like, specifically how I was like very straight edge, like so no drugs, no alcohol, like especially like not weed, and during like I would say like the peak of my depression throughout high school, and I said I'm sure that a few people can relate, but you know, Ryan, certifiable pothead for a long time.
Yeah, like 10 years almost.
A long time.
Yeah.
And so you can imagine me, very sad, probably not taking really care of myself health-wise. When you're really fucking depressed, you don't have effort or energy to do fucking anything. I would take like a shower like once a week.
Yeah.
If that.
Yeah, I used to roast you for that actually.
Yeah, but the problem was like you just thought I was doing it because like I was like lazy and disgusting.
Not like it was actually also like the craziest thing like during this time and like now like connecting is like because I worked at Chick-fil-A, so I know what it was like. I wouldn't even say you're like lazy, bro. I was like concerned for the fact that you're gonna like break out and stuff, dude. You would like sleep in like lighting that was this bright.
Yeah.
In like your Chick-fil-A clothes. And
dude,
I was like, dude, this is like you're gonna fucking you're gonna kill yourself. Like,
well,
you know what I'm saying? Like, which is crazy.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, like I didn't have the fucking energy to, dude. I'd literally go home and I'd go into my room and I wouldn't even have energy once I fucking laid and touched the fucking bed. I wouldn't even have the energy to get out of bed to turn off the light or fucking anything.
Yeah.
And it was because I didn't fucking care. It wasn't because I was like inherently like wanting to be like I just did not give a fuck because I didn't care about being alive. So taking care of yourself, like whether it be brushing your teeth or like whatever the case may be, like that was like the least of my concerns, which is horrendous, but it's something that a lot of people can relate to. But I was getting back to that quickly because unfortunately I can find a little bit of comedy in this, but during probably like the worst times, Ryan would like play COD in so we had the same bedroom for 17 years, and Ryan would like smoke weed in our room every fucking day. Now imagine you're a mother, your son has long hair, it looks like he's not taking care of himself, he's not going to school. I was absent over 40 days my senior year.
Romance t-shirts.
Hey, man, call it what you will. I was absent over 40 days of my senior year. Dude, I knew kids who were, like, absent, like, 10 days their senior year and had to, like, go to court.
Yeah.
I never had to do that shit, and I was absent, I think, 43 days my senior year of high school.
Yeah, I mean, I missed a shit ton of school, too.
Yeah. And so every day your mom comes into your bedroom when both you and Ryan are in there, and she looks straight at you in the eye and says, "Smells kind of skunky outside. Are you guys' window open?" And would like fucking stare daggers into my heart when I would, miss the bus, definitely not on purpose, to go to school, and like our mom would drive me to school the whole time. She's like threatening to drug test me, and I literally say like, "Please do." And she's like, "Casey, I know you're fucking smoking pot. I know that you're."
I mean, well, our mom is nothing, not
Oh, I'm aware, and that's the irony of it. Our mom, God bless her heart, she also has an affinity for the ganja, and is one way to say it. And she, I guess, wanted her kids to be better than she was, and was convinced out of the two of us that I must be the pothead. I'm the one that wore beanies and had long hair and looked like I didn't really care. So she equated these things to me smoking weed. And I remember there was literally one specific, it was the funniest part. It was the funniest one ever. You literally just got done smoking. You put it out.
I was Nah, it would be like, it would like hit a bowl and blow it out the window.
Yeah, a bowl, yeah.
Blow it out the window.
Yes. And she just came in and basically was like, I think she might have said verbatim, like, "I know you're smoking weed in here." And she's looking right at me the whole time. And I literally I just got done watching this fucking dude light a bowl, fucking smoke it, hit that shit probably 10 times, blow it out the window. And then the moment our mom walked out of the room, instead of Ryan telling our mom that it was him, he started to laugh, and he laughed right at me, and he thought it was the funniest thing ever. And I had never even once thought of smoking weed. I don't even think I smoked weed until I was like, out of high school. It was probably when I was 20, maybe, probably around that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. So that was also very funny. But I was very against alcohol. I was very against drugs for a long time. And then right after I got out of high school, that's when I started to experiment with that type of stuff. And I was drinking a lot too, and that probably didn't help the mental health. But Ryan, this episode is not about me. I know that there was a ton of things that you were going through at this time, but you and I were also kind of disconnected because you had moved kind of a few times.
Yeah.
And there was like a big part where you weren't there, at least like in my immediate vicinity. So like kind of walk me through, after you graduate high school, or maybe even, if you want to be, if you want to talk about some struggles within school, but kind of talk me through a little bit more about kind of what was going on in your head, because I think you and I both, but you especially, you did a really good job of, I would say, hiding it.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you, like, I can confidently say that, like, throughout high school, like, all was good mentally wise. I was doing the gaming thing. I was in this, I was like cocky, smart, doing whatever the hell I wanted. You couldn't tell me shit kind of person, right? And so I wouldn't even say like had really any like true mental health. Thankfully, like I was never like suicidal. I definitely had moments in my life that I fucking hated. I can tell you the year when I was 21 years old, it was 2017.
Yeah.
That I hated that whole year of my life. I didn't talk to anybody. The reason why it all stems from the surgery, right?
Yeah.
So like I think, talk a little bit as I'm looking at here. Like dissociation was probably a big thing that started to happen to me. So like towards the end of 2016, the gaming thing, by the way. So I had a lot of off tangent. Smoking weed probably is the reason why that definitely fucked with my gaming career. But so 2016, basically I got told by our stepdad, like, hey, like if you're not taking classes, if you can't be in this house anymore unless you're in school, right? So I graduated in 2014, 2015 comes around, I'm doing the college thing, and then like towards like summer 2016, which was a great time for a lot of reasons.
It was
a lot of fun.
My favorite summer, probably.
Yeah, I think a lot of people's. Me and my friends had a lot of fun. But towards the end of 2016, dude, I have to get the surgery done. I have this like hernia, for fucking. I can feel my intestines in my balls.
Right.
Which is just crazy. And I was like, Mom, I don't know what's going on, but we need to go to the doctor. So go to the hospital. Basically, I get scheduled to get this procedure done.
Yeah.
To fix his hernia. So now I'm sitting around just smoking a bunch of weed, staring at the stars, listening to Mac Miller, watching movies with the sound off.
Banger.
And I can't do anything. I can't work out, can't play sports. Gaming was kind of, I was kind of in the bed, so I was just getting really high and just looking at the sky.
Jeez. And you are?
We're still in Benson at this point. So I get the surgery done. And right after this happens, I'm like, I'm going to do the gaming thing. So I actually move out.
Yeah, dude.
I meet my girlfriend at the time. I meet her. I move into my friend's house. I'm trying to do the gaming thing there. November comes around of 2016.
Yeah.
Actually, me and that girlfriend at the time, we had some like free time by ourselves, like at her house. And then it was kind of like, oh, this is fucking dope. Like, I should move in. So, right before I moved in, I'm still at my friend's house.
Yes.
It's like her 21st birthday. I was not 21 at the time. And I really didn't, like, fuck around, like, drinking and driving. And, like, I didn't really drink too much anyway. But I was definitely a pothead. So I show up to their little pregame situation. I'm like, you have fun. It's like new friends, all those people. Y'all go do your thing. I'm gonna go home. And this is kind of the start of me like hating my life.
Isn't this 2017?
2016.
This is 20.
Yeah,
this is 20.
September 2016. Yes, sir.
Shit. Okay.
Well, November of 20. It's Thanksgiving Eve.
Yeah, I was about to say it was Thanksgiving.
Eve 2016. So I just got the surgery done. meet this girl, boom, boom, boom. I'm in a lot of crazy physical pain, by the way. So you have this hernia surgery done, and a lot of physical pain. You're smoking a lot of weed. Ironically, that kind of like amplifies the pain, which is also interesting thing that I dealt with.
Damn.
Which is just very strange, and I continue to smoke. But, yeah, I mean, we'll tell this. I was going to probably say this one, but fucking send it. We're here. So, Thanksgiving Eve, that is the night. Weed is not legal in Pennsylvania, for the record.
Yeah, by the way, let's just kind of set that straight.
And Thanksgiving Eve is like drinking night of the year.
Oh, dude, yeah.
That's where like the most DUIs and things happen.
100%.
And like I said, I was a cocky young fuck, dude. I had a headlight out, didn't pay for my inspection. And I literally like leave the party and I say like, hey, I'm for real. I was planning on driving home and going to sleep.
Yeah.
I did not drink. I had like a quarter of a gram of weed in a bowl that was in my backpack. That was it.
Yeah.
I definitely had smoked at the party. I talked about a little about this, but I was explaining like this is probably two. You talk about like being in control. Like I felt like I was in control of everything in my life. I could do what I wanted. I had no one telling me to do anything. You know, I was getting paid to play video games, smoking weed, living on cloud 9 with a girlfriend, bro. You couldn't tell me shit, right?
Who could?
Well, I'll tell you who could.
Yeah.
The entity that does not exist in this plane slapped me in the fucking face, man. So, you know, this is for real, like the night that like God smacked me in the face and said, "Oh, this is how you feel about life? Okay, you're gonna get put to work." So I'm driving home. Also, and the other thing too, like about this night is truly oblivious. Like when in hindsight, bro, it's Thanksgiving Eve. I wasn't even thinking about it, dude. For real, there's not a conscious cell in my being that was like, oh, dude, you should probably watch out for cops.
Yeah,
right
that
now.
thought that there could be an increased chance of seeing police officers.
And the weirdest thing about this night was the place that we were at, I could have slept there. Like they were like, oh, we'll go out. You can chill here if you want. I was like, nah, I'm going to go home. And I feel like this was the first night in my entire life where I was completely out of I had no control. Like it felt like I was on autopilot.
Really?
Like, legitimately on autopilot. I sit in my car. Any gamers out there, like, you know, if you're about to like, you know, there's some scenes too, like I think like the MW2 campaign where you're about to die and like the darkness starts like coming in around you. Dude, I sit in my car and I felt like that happened. Like it was just like everything was just like, you know, like everything was like coming in from the sides.
Shit.
And so I start driving. I see this cop pop a U-turn in front of me, and I watch him pop a U-turn behind me, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is happening right now. This is happening." And
were you like speeding or like were you?
No, I just had a headlight out.
It was
and
just
it's
a headlight.
Thanksgiving Eve, dude.
Yeah,
headlight out. Thanksgiving
why
Eve.
not? Yeah.
Here's a reason to pull you over. We'll find something once we're there.
100%.
And they did not. It wasn't alcohol. They didn't breathalyze or anything. Cop comes up. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, fried.
This is it. Yeah, for sure. And I'm like, this is it. And he's like, hey, smell the weed. Give me the weed. Hand the shit over. This whole night was a fucking shit show, dude.
Yeah.
They like 6 other cops pull up. They made me do a bunch of sobriety tests. Kill them all, to be honest with you.
Cooked.
And then like a show, you know, actually my fault. Before the sobriety test, a cop comes up, starts questioning me. I hand it. He's like, oh, have you ever been arrested before? And I was like, nah. He's like, okay, cool, I'll be back. So then all these cops pull up, make me do all these sobriety tests. He's like, okay, last one. So I want you to face the back of my car. And he's like, I want you to read your license plate from right to left. And I'm like, oh, this shit's easy. As I'm doing it, this dude starts handcuffing me. And I'm like, holy shit.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just felt.
The dude was an asshole.
I just felt that. Whoa.
This dude was. He went out of his way to be a fucking asshole and make a whole show of it, dude. Like, I'm serious. Like, 6 cops pulled up. Bro, it's freezing cold in the middle of the night, like Thanksgiving Eve.
Pennsylvania in late November?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Trash.
Me, dude.
Trash.
Oh, God.
Trash. And so.
Hell no.
You know, more to and as I go through this you know, conversation with God a little bit for real, like I was getting I'm a very sarcastic person by nature, and this whole night was ironically sarcastic, right? For example, we get to the police station, they make me do like the finger, so you have to do like the whole thing, right? Make me do my fingerprints, and there's like this little machine that you like roll your fingers across.
Oh, okay.
And because
I've seen that like in the movies, I've never.
It's real.
Yeah.
And because I'd been arrested for it, dude, this fool's like grabbing my hand and like trying to do it, and he can't figure it the fuck out. So I'm like, bro, get the fuck out of here. Just let me do it myself, right? Like there was moments like that during it where I was like, I cannot believe this shit's happening to me, and like it was, I feel like a funny moment of like, yeah, you are this guy, but also you're not above the law, right?
Yeah,
you know,
like
you're not,
this is the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, like literally showing you in real time. Yeah, I can do whatever the fuck I want to you, basically. Literally. And that anything can be taken away from you at any time.
Facts, dude. They and this is some illegal shit that happened too, but it is what it is.
All right.
They made me like take blood while I was there. Bro, I go into like the break room of this.
I've never heard that.
Dude, fucking crazy. Cause like that's the way they get you is like, I had weed, but they're trying to get you from it's like cannabinoids running through your system or something.
Yeah.
So there's like this woman in there who's like there to take my blood, bro. I knew that like I was not in some medically sanitary place. I'm just like in a fucking break room of this police department. There's 2 cops with me. She doesn't even know how to do it. She's asking the cop how to take the blood. The cop's telling her what to do. The other cop's telling him like, "Yo, you can't tell her what to do." Da da da. And I'm sitting here like, "Are y'all?"
This is like
I'm like, "Is this real life? Is this real life?"
You're like in like a you're simultaneously in a comedy and a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like in the sense that like, yeah, dude, like you're like you can't make this up.
Yeah, no, she was hilarious. She was hilarious, bro. Like the fate loves irony. Like it was just ridiculous. So. That happens. They're like, all right, you can go. I'm like, all right, whatever. So eventually mom answers and she was just like, hey, you know, she's like, what do we need to do? So she comes, picks me up, right? One of the more funny things is tomorrow's Thanksgiving, bro. And you know, like our life at that time was I had to go to, I didn't even tell my girlfriend I got arrested.
Yeah.
I have to go to like her family thing,
and then
our family, and all these family things,
and
I just got arrested last night.
Fuck me.
Now the mental health thing comes into play because like I said, I had felt all these ways about me. Yeah. I've been told my whole life that I'm fucking a gift from God itself, and now the people that I would be making fun of for getting arrested, I am now that person, and this shit caused like a chain reaction of me like hating my life. I lost my gaming shit because of it.
Wait, go further into that. What do you mean?
So I just signed to like live in Detroit.
Yes, dude. With fucking what was that team called?
Renegade. Yes.
Renegade. Yes.
So I just signed to do this. Now I'm flying back to Philly to like pee in a cup to fly back to this for this. My other teammates had their own shit going on. There was like a recipe for disaster that was happening there. You had pointed out I get super, super, super skinny during this time.
Dude, there is a picture of, fast forward a little bit past like my senior prom where Ryan and I are taking a picture together. Now I told you like guys, I was like super thin. Dude, he looks like a fucking skeleton standing next. Like it is. I've never.
And I wasn't skinny. I was like kind of I was like decently chubby for like most of it. Just like not even chubby. Just like not skinny though.
Stocky.
Yeah.
Is like
played sports shit. You know, whatever that build is, right?
Whatever you walk through life, not like super trying to be athletic, but still like
exactly.
Like the extra. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But I remember looking at that picture and I was like, oh my God, he's thinner than me. You might have been like at a dangerously low weight without
probably like 165, probably 160 would be probably the lowest I ever got to. So now I have to pay for lawyers.
Yeah.
I lose my license for a year.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's driving me around everywhere.
Brutal.
She hates me probably for good reason at this time. My
work schedule.
Too. We work next door.
Yes.
I'm waking up at like 4 a.m. to go to work with her, to sleep in her car, to then work like a 10-hour shift at Chick-fil-A. I have to pay for a lawyer. I lose the gaming thing. Every single thing that I thought like I was the fucking shit all comes crashing down. I don't talk to my friends. I don't talk to you. I don't talk to my family. I didn't talk to literally anybody, dude.
I didn't really know what the fuck was going on.
And I work at this Christian chicken place where I just got arrested. I'm the kitchen manager of this place. I'm working 55 plus hours a week to pay all this money back into fucking to just paying for lawyers, paying for all this stuff. Everything fucking sucked. Everything fucking sucked. I hated everyone. I didn't hate everyone, bro, but I hated everything. And what's so interesting, like one of those core memories, I remember being at work at Chick-fil-A, and dude, and this doesn't even factor, by the way, this is a different conversation for a different episode, but I also had just come off this hernia surgery, and that shit was not right. This shit was not done right.
They fucked it up.
I'm in like crazy physical pain on a daily basis on top of this, and it was just the most insane thing ever. I remember being at work, like breading chicken and just like fucking pounding my fist like into the table, and I was basically like I was like, oh, that's all you got? Like this, like I got to that point where like I would say our mentalities are different, and I never went down this like, I don't even want to say that like I think depressed is not the word, dude. It was just like pissed off. Like it was like like fucking, like fuck you. Like I'm like, give me more. I got to a point where it really was like, oh, this is the only test you got. Like give me more, because it changed my whole. I had lost all of my ego. Like I had lost everything that was about my ego of like gaming, this, bro, boom, 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 was all gone, and I had to work a shit ton to pay for stuff.
Yeah.
That it was trash, man. So and I think that it destroyed my relationship for sure. Couldn't drive anywhere. Destroyed gaming. Didn't talk to my friends. Was in a bunch of physical pain at all times from this botched surgery. Like crazy.
Yeah, and like the thing is too is like we couldn't even, like you said, like you weren't talking to me, like we couldn't even talk about it because like you lived with her.
Yeah.
And there was so much that you eventually like unraveled like way after the fact. But dude, during all this time, like we are simultaneously also going through like the worst years of our life. Like senior year of high school was like the epitome for me of like my
2017, right?
Yeah. Of my absolute fucking like lowest.
So we were both going through it in different ways.
And had neither, and we didn't talk to each other. Like you and I, and again, like this is, I mean, like one thing that again I'm so fucking grateful for, of course, is like my relationship with my siblings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was not that back then. Like you and I didn't just like text or anything. I went probably months without talking to you.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you. I don't even remember, bro.
And again, I think that's one of those things where I probably mentioned this a few times throughout the episode. It's like apparently it's like a trauma response, like just where your memory just completely like blacks out. Like I basically forget my entire senior year except for senior prom and like the senior trip to Disney World.
Gotcha.
Like that is all I really remember. Like everything else is just gone.
Well, one thing I want to talk about is the dissociation. So I would say so one of the weirdest things too, and like I was still smoking a lot of weed. I didn't care that I got arrested. I was still smoking a lot of weed.
Yeah.
For a very real thing, it did give me like PTSD for cops. Even if I was not smoking or anything, and I like fucking was like, the cop car like literally triggered something, and it's a weird thing when like there's something that like actually affects you that you don't have control over. Like that's a weird thing. Like I can give you another example, but but
yeah, that just might be your thing.
Yeah, it was like it would trip me out. And at this point in my life, I don't really give a fuck about cops or anything. But it was really weird that like every time I saw a cop, I'd be like it would make me tweak a little bit. But I started to like dissociate, and what I mean by that is like as I was going through like for a very long time, dealing with this crazy pain for the surgery thing, all this goes on, and like I just felt so disconnected from reality. I can confidently say like right now as I sit and talk to you, like I see you as like a 3D being, and I feel like I'm in this 3D room and things like that. But for like a majority of my early 20s, like hating all this stuff, the best way to explain is I felt like I was looking at a picture for everything. Like I was looking through something, and that I was not present, that I was just like stuck in my own head. And a lot of that is probably from the physical pain, for sure. So much to like I would go, like I touched on it earlier. I went to, I get a good job. I get great insurance. I start going to doctors finally, and they tell me I have medical anxiety because they're like, oh, do you think about your medical situation a lot? Fuck yeah, I'm in pain all the time.
Yeah.
So I take Lexapro for it, and it's like it didn't even fix any of those things. I fucking got off that, and you know, the dissociation thing was weird, man, because it was just like I was always looking through you and I wasn't looking at you.
I know what you mean.
And that was, you know, when we talk about like mental health things like that was like a big one for me. And yeah, man, you know, everything happens for a reason. If I don't go through that, if that doesn't happen, I don't move home. I don't help formulate moving you and mom out of this house.
Dude. Well, yeah.
That literally does not happen. If gaming just goes and all is well and none of that and I never get arrested, I legitimately never move home, and there wouldn't have been a reason to, which is crazy too.
Right, yeah. And then, yeah, dude, and then again, like on top of that too, like that's like when, you know, you and I, again, I think we've mentioned this, but like there's really early conversations of like, yo, like you and I, like, fuck it, let's get our own apartment.
Yeah.
And then, and we were even like
late 2017.
Yep.
Early 2018.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you were even like looking at places, or like we were looking at places like Center City, and like because it would have been cool to like live in Philly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then those conversations would kind of cease because then we would both be like, we can't leave mom, like with what we got going on.
Yeah.
And then that's when you started to really fucking get the ball rolling with mom, and like started looking at places.
Yeah.
And I think that you're so right. I've never thought about it that way. If all that terrible shit doesn't happen, the exact path of events does not occur.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it fucking blows my mind, dude. Like, it's just fucking, it's so weird how the fucking ripple effect of one decision or one choice can like literally change the rest of your life.
You have no idea what's going to happen, man.
Never.
Bro, and there's fun in all of it, man. Remember we first at the house, we're making that funny ass video of like touring the fact that we're in a new house and shit. Yeah, and like jumping on that stage back there. We still have that. It's probably in like it's in
the archives
somewhere.
It's
right?
somewhere.
And you know, I do want to bring this back to like to now, because I didn't really like talk about like it's great for us to talk those things out, but the goal of, you know, things like the stigma behind therapy and things like that, I want to say something that I had learned. So the first time all this shit's happening, and like we're talking about 2016, 2017, 2018. By the time I got out of that, truly I was pretty good for the most part. But you know, I've also been really good at repressing things my whole entire life. So the medical thing is still a road that I've definitely not even going to talk about, to be honest with you. But fast forward to like last year, at the end of the year, I would say, you know, I start talking to a therapist and start explaining some of these things that happen, like all this stuff. And, you know, I talk about like relationships, and something that I learned, you know, about myself in regards to relationships, whether it's like with you or whether it's romantic or professional or anything. And it all does kind of relate to that like smart cockiness thing. And it's talking about how, like, you know, there's basically a couple different character types that, you know, that feel the need to do a lot for others. And when she was saying this to me, it fucking clicked. Light bulb above my head. I was like, whoa. So, you know, one is like, oh, like if I do, you know, if I buy you a gift, oh, cool, Casey's going to buy me a gift, right? And that's like one person, like these different languages of love or whatever. And that's not me. That is not me. You know? One was like, you know, you're doing something for others because you feel it's going to get reciprocated. Some people do a lot of things for others so that they feel fulfillment out of like doing something for people.
Yeah.
And the third one is when she said this, I was like, holy shit. Is, 'cause you don't think about it this way, is that some people feel the need to overperform in relationships or whatever so that they have like a guilt-free way of backing out. And that is me to a T. And when she said it, I was like, holy shit. Because like the whole goal of it, and the reason why, like, you know, as you're trying to better yourself and going to these things, is like, dude, when you talk to a therapist, all you're doing is just learning about yourself.
Right.
That's all you're doing. And I do that. Like And the best way is like not to talk about like relationship with women or anything, but like on a professional lens. I'm like, bro, if I'm so fucking good, guess what? You can't tell me shit. You want to tell me X, Y, and Z? Well, no, I can get away with this because I know that I'm doing this. And it's super destructive in romantic relationships because like you basically like, all right, if I'm perfect and then I see this one flaw in this person, oh fuck, let me get out of that shit.
It's like a ticking time bomb.
But it's all self-destructive. It's like,
right,
you know,
it's completely caused by you and your you know, thoughts and actions.
And that has just made me, once you realize that, she even told me, she's like, look, you might she's like, in 10 years from now, that might be the only thing you remember from this. And I'm like, fair. Shit. But like, that's like, you know, she's like, but that might be all you needed. And yeah, now like I do think like I'm more present. Like I listen more. I like love more in like a general aspect. Mm-hmm. And I don't feel the need to be like analyzing and judging someone as I'm talking to them on a constant basis, which is
that can be,
which is great,
really rough to overcome. I mean, I feel like, you know, I probably, you know, still, you know, probably do that to a degree.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard to like let yourself become almost like completely, maybe not vulnerable is not the word, more like accepting, you know.
Literally. Yeah.
Like you know, like just Denise will tell me all the time, like, Casey, how are you so good at like reading people? How are you so? Because I've spent my entire life over analyzing every fucking little detail about almost every single conversation that I've ever had.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I've developed like basically like pattern recognition to where like I could probably, it sounds fucking selfish and egotistical to say because it is, but I felt that for a long time, like, oh, I could talk to anybody and figure out, like for like 5 seconds and figure out exactly like what all their life experiences are and exactly why they're talking to me in this way and exactly how they feel. Dude, that's so fucking weird and unfair to them. Like, they don't deserve that. They deserve to be taken in a completely open, judge-free setting when I'm spending the entire time of the conversation simultaneously halfway listening to what they're saying and halfway thinking about who exactly are you as a person.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That is interesting. And on the contrary, I would do the exact opposite thing. I would analyze, but I'm not, it's different. I'm not analyzing who they are. I'm like, oh yeah, cool, you're saying all this shit. I don't give a fuck about what you're saying to me, right? So it like literally stems from like me thinking, like having this giant self-image for X, Y, and Z, whereas like, oh, I have the important shit to say. I don't give a fuck about what you say. And I say that to be open because like, dude, I know myself well enough to where like that's not a thing. Like I do I am very accepting and open to talking to people, but it is definitely something that when you like really zoom back, I mean, I think that shit stems from being a little kid being told that like, you know, fucking, and that's probably
that you are the shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I mean, and it's my own self, you know, desires and ego like come from it as well. But it is just interesting how, like, you know, all that being said, we lived this close away from each other, going through drastically different like material events and things, but going through like very similar struggles, but in different parts of our brains, parts of consciousness, or whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? It's wild.
Dude, yeah. I mean, it's like a kind of like, you know, like the saying of like when people say like they feel alone in a crowded room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But to kind of like go back to what you're saying about like the conversational piece, like, you know, something that I, you know, have also struggled a little bit too with is you're waiting for the other person to shut the fuck up because you're thinking of already what you want to say, and it really doesn't matter what they say because you think what you have to say is more important.
Sure.
And that's also not okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everyone deserves to be heard, listened to, so that way you can create a response based off of the subject matter that you're given, not the one that you're expecting or that you've already formulated in your head.
And you know what people do that when they do that, and you know what I've noticed? It's people who are very good at making you... this is not a shot at you. You are good at socializing in a grand scheme, but people who are really good at being friends for 30 seconds are good at that. Like, oh, I got something interesting to say, and like this is cool, but you can't build anything. By, like you the surface level is all you got, and you might be really good at making like a lot of surface level relationships and things like that, but you're never gonna be able to like deepen it unless you can like listen, consume, listen, and then respond or ask questions or whatever, right?
And allow and something I've also noticed is like allow yourself to have experiences with each other, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like I think that's also a big thing. Like I've noticed like some of the friends that like I've made, in this area, I feel like, man, I can know them a lot deeper if we just like spent more time together.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And I think that's also huge, but I totally agree with what you just said as well. Like just allowing them to speak and really retaining and then poking and picking at what they're saying, not in a judgmental way, but in like a curiosity way. Yeah. And I think that's the way that you get past like being like Joe that you see at work every day versus like him and I play video games after, or him and I go to the gym after, or him and I go to eat after.
Dude, I know we've been. Oh, fuck, I don't care. You know what's a fun one? And I've talked to you and Jolie about this one too. But like when you go, I love where I live now because it's very walkable and I get to like explore places. But I think something that was funny that I learned too. It's the same way. It's like a customer service thing. Is how I'm gonna bridge this actually.
Okay.
And say, for example, say we're at Chick-fil-A together, working together, and some customers pissed off about who the fuck knows, their sandwich wasn't blah 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 blah, whatever. There was too much ice in their cup, and they come up and they're yelling at this person, right? Which is definitely something that would happen. I remember actually,
dude,
where I had to. I'm like, I was a fiery fuck. I was like 18, 19, and I told this dude to like basically fuck off because he made one of the girls up front cry.
Dude, yeah.
Do you remember that actually?
Yeah, fuck yeah. I had to do like something very similar, but go ahead.
And I was like, and he's like, if you knew who I was, I was like, dude, I don't give a shit who you are, bro. You're talking about a spicy chicken sandwich right now. Get out of my Dog, what are you talking about?
Making the 16-year-old girl cry.
But my point is that like people like that guy, whatever he's pissed off about, he's yelling at Chick-fil-A in his head, right? When you go to like Starbucks or something, like you're going to Starbucks and you're not really thinking about the fact that like there's like an actual person there making your stuff and doing that. And I think people miss out on that a lot. And this all ties in the back that you said, like, experiencing and like actually like communicating with people was like, I would walk around. I'm like, you know what? I see you every single day at this thing. Maybe I should talk to you. Right.
Dude, right.
Which is something that like people don't do.
Not anymore.
People do not do that. And I think that's, community, all those things. But like when you live in a place that's like walkable and you can be more like ingrained in that. In
like the culture.
It's like, I should talk to you. Like, I see you every day. And instead of me just buying this thing and leaving, like, hello.
Dude, no, but that's such a good call. Like, in your head, like, it's like, oh, let's go to Phil's. But, like, there's, like, 4 people behind the counter who are all real people, all have real lives, and they all have real experiences. And just another Chick-fil-A side note. I had to, dude, so it was, like, right at close. It was, or not even, it was, like, we were getting there. It was, like, 9:45. And there was apparently some guy cut off someone in the drive-thru, and like, bro, we're Chick-fil-A, dude. And I mean, it's a family show, but and apparently the one guy who got cut off, he's like screaming loud as hell, like cursing, like screaming "fuck you," like going, but like it's getting like to the point like where it feels like an altercation could happen, and there's like just girls up front. And, like, I think it was only, like, 3 girls who were closing that night. It was, like, a fucking random Wednesday night or some shit. And the girl who was, like, bagging, like the food, she, like, looks over to me. She's like, Casey, can you come here? And I told the guy, like, yeah, I'll be right back. And then I'm like, yeah, what's going on? They're like, there's some guy who's, like, trying to start a fight in the park. I had to go out into the drive-thru and basically, like, humble and, like, communicate, unfortunately, like, down to – I'm like – yo, what are we doing? Like, this guy has, like, kids in his back seat, and he's screaming, fuck you. His wife's in the passenger seat. I'm like, how do you not care? I'm like, what? I'm like, I was like, I think 19. I was like,
Yeah.
why am I mediating this? Like, dude, and
Yeah.
like, I had to basically make them like a fucking apologize to each other. And I basically was like, dude, I don't fucking care who cut who off. Like, dude, like, shut up.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, this is a family restaurant.
ridiculous.
You got kids. I said, sir, you have kids in your car.
Yeah.
Why am I 19 telling
You're
that
cursing
to
out waffle fries.
Yeah, dude, come on. Mental health. So I think that you know, that is probably a good
Hell yeah, man.
place to stop.
Yeah.
But Rye, you know, to be fair, I mean, we started this one because we just thought it would be cool.
Yeah.
But two, we definitely did it for selfish reasons so that we had more of a platform to kind of speak about shit that you and I never really got a chance to talk about. So it was really fucking informative and, you know, groundbreaking for me to like hear a lot about this stuff from you, and I kind of hope you feel the same way.
Yeah, man.
It was a pleasure, dude.
Yeah, I love you, dude. I think a lot of people can relate to some of the things that we both mentioned, but you know, you're a lot of stuff that I did not know about you, which is wild.
Well, I love you too, man. And whether you realize it or not, you have a much bigger part of us sitting here together than you realize.
Love that.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm Casey.
And I'm Ryan.
Peace.
No, we said peace already.